It's the most wonderful time of the year if you're a video game investor, because that's who E3 is really about. It's E3 time! Let's talk about everything that we know and think is going to happen at E3 2019. So truly, while E3 is really just a show for game companies to show off what they have coming to game investors, it's certainly fun for us, the game consumers, because what they're really selling here is our hype to their investors. And it's kind of nice to be, it's nice to be courted a little bit, you know? It's nice for game companies take us out on a nice little date, show us some games. It's a good time. I'm gonna go through all the conferences in order from when they start on Saturday afternoon with the EA live show, and then going through until they end with the people they end with. First up is EA Play's live stream. EA is of course a company that has always been on rocky terms with gamers, but manages to stick around because they do release quite a few bangers. I mean, we just gotta admit that while EA themselves may be somewhat despicable, the EA catalog can be a little fun. EA themselves are foregoing their traditional conference this year and doing a series of live streams showing off different games, gameplay, saying that they're not really going to do too many announcements, but we'll see if they actually hold true to that or if they're just trying to misdirect our hype. The first thing they'll be showing off is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This will most likely be the most exciting part of the EA conference. It's certainly the most highly anticipated part of the EA conference. Jedi Fallen Order has already been shown off to us a little bit, but with no gameplay, just a cinematic reveal and a little bit of the story reveal. It takes place shortly after the Empire takes over the Star Wars universe, with a young Darth Vader starting to rain down his terror upon the universe. You play a Jedi Order escapee who has force powers but is trying to not get caught and, you know, murdered so much. It seems like a bad thing to have happen to you. The game has promised no microtransactions, but I for one am incredibly excited to see how EA will inevitably fuck this up on Saturday and somehow still put in some sort of microtransactions into what is a single-player game. Moving on from Star Wars, they're going to talk about Apex Legends for a while. Most likely they'll be talking about maybe a new hero. A new hero announcement would be cool. Maybe plans for future battle passes. Maybe plans to recover some of their incredibly lost fan base. The player base for that game has dropped drastically, but it does have some hardcore fans and streamers still behind it. It seems like a good game, so I'm not rooting against it, but I really hope that they can bring some of the excitement back into the Apex realm. If not, we're looking at a game that maybe is gonna be headed towards the bargain bin soon. And it's already free, so I guess that just means it's going in the garbage. Next up, we'll be talking about Battlefield. Battlefield, of course, being one of those games that EA just cannot release enough of quick enough. We'll probably be getting a new Battlefield. I can't wait to see what political intrigue that the internet stirs up about this one. After Battlefield, EA will go on to talk about some sports games. I, for one, think that sports ball is one of the most annoying jokes that ever came out of nerd culture, so I won't refer to them as sports ball games, but I will say, I also don't care. So, I mean, there are going to be more sports games. If you like those games, great for you. They're going to be exactly what they've been every year since, like, 1998. And finally, The Sims 4 is going to be featured as the final EA live stream play thingamabob. Yes, I did just adjust the camera. Let's keep moving on. Also kicking off on Saturday will be the Nintendo Invitational Tournaments featuring Mario Maker 2, Splatoon, and the World Championships for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And as somebody who actually really likes competitive Smash Bros., whether it be Melee or Ultimate, I would just like to tell Nintendo that their World Championship Tournament can go shove a Mega Mushroom up its featuring 3v3 Smash Bros competition, most likely with timers on, items on. If you want to watch competitive Smash Bros, please, for the love of God, watch real competitive Smash Bros. It's fantastic. Do not support Nintendo's disregard and disrespect for esports. Then going into June 9th, we'll be launching off with the Microsoft press conference. Microsoft this year will most likely be showing off Halo Infinite and Gears 5 as their two major players. Halo Infinite we do not know too much about just yet. Hopefully it'll be better than Halo 5. We do know that it really can't be worse than Halo 5. Halo Infinite, of course, the long-running Halo series, long forgotten by Bungie, its original creators, but hoping to bring back some of the magic with Halo Infinite, hoping we can get back to those like core mechanics and principles that made it such a fun game. I, for one, would be pretty excited for Halo Infinite if I had an Xbox, which I don't, and it's unlikely that they'll release it on PC, but hey, if they happen to decide that they want to release it on PC, I will absolutely be playing Halo Infinite. Gears 5, while being a Gears sequel, is promising to be maybe more in like reboot territory. It seems that the tone has kind of shifted on video games since Gears was super popular. The dark, gritty, post-apocalyptic future warfare, chainsaw, hyper-violence days of the Xbox 360 are somewhat more behind us as a gaming culture, not to say that we've totally left them behind. So it'll be interesting to see if Gears 5 stays true to the principles that it was founded on, or if they try to go to a more modern approach. I'm wondering if they'll stick, you know, to like original OG God of War style, or if they'll be like new God of War PS4 where they maybe take a more serious tone and route, which would be very interesting either way. No matter what they do, I'm sure Gears fans who have long awaited Gears 5 will be more than excited to be watching whatever trailer or information they deem that is appropriate to show us. In news that some people may find more exciting or upsetting, they're also announcing their Project Cloud, which is a Stadia competitor. Because it seems like all the game companies think the new rage is streaming games directly to your homes, which is not great if you're like me and you have a data cap, which means I will be streaming no games ever. Xbox plans to allow you to, for a subscription fee, no doubt linked directly to the Xbox itself, to stream games directly to your home instead of owning them or even technically playing them off of a console. You'll just access a database much like Netflix. Stadia's already started doing it, and this will just be Microsoft's approach. Microsoft does probably have the edge on this though, as they have a huge host of games that they already own the rights to. They already have hardware, they already have experience with games. It seems like if I was gonna bet on a horse in this race, it seems like Project Cloud, or xCloud, or whatever dumb name they gave it temporarily, will probably be the horse to bet on. I also predict that they will announce a real name for the service across E3 so I can stop calling it this dumb codename. But then moving on to something that was supposed to be a surprise, but then surprise, it got leaked, is Ninja Theory's new game Bleeding Edge, a 4v4 combat brawler. The game features intense action and very colorful, bright, and hazardous stages, featuring a host of heroes that are much reminiscent of Overwatch, where different heroes will have different weapon types and abilities. I'm actually very excited from the initial teaser of footage that I've seen from this game. It looks like a game that's very much up my alley. It will be interesting to see if it releases as a free-to-play game, as most competitive online games are choosing to do these days, or if it'll be a more traditional $60 release. Ninja Theory certainly made some great games over the year, and I'm excited to see what they got this time around. And then moving on to rumors for the Microsoft conference, the number one rumor that is probably the most likely to be true is a new Xbox console. Xbox has been teasing a new console for a while. There is no doubt that there's one in the works, and there's also very little doubt that it will make some sort of appearance at E3. The question is, will we get pricing, release dates, how much information are they willing to show and focus on at the conference, or will it just simply be like, hey, it's coming, we want to announce it when we're the big special boys. They probably remember that time that PlayStation came out on the stage and undersold them. That was a great conference. A very exciting rumor as well is that From Software, maker of Dark Souls, have been collaborating with George R.R. Martin for up to 3 years now. We know George R.R. Martin for sure has been in talks with a Japanese video game company about a game for a few years now, and it's been thought that it's most likely From Software and that the game is likely to be announced soon, but we don't really know for sure. Regardless, to say that this could be a conference winner if it was to be announced and look enticing. And then finally, a rumor that is totally just up in the air based on speculation is a new Fable game. Fans have been chomping at the bit for Fable 4 for years now. We want it. Give it to us, Microsoft. Maybe they will. It seems that some leaks are leaning us towards believing that this may finally be the year that Fable 4 is ready to be given a proper title, an announcement, and a trailer. I wouldn't expect it to be released anytime soon. I mean, crazier things have happened, but I would just be happy to know that it was in the works, in the pipeline, and going to reach us someday. Someday would be great. Moving on from Microsoft, we'll have the company that loves to always bring it hard to E3, Bethesda, and my man, Todd Howard. Bethesda's centerpiece for this conference is going to be Doom Eternal. It's already been announced, and it's already been announced that it will be the main game that they're focusing on. They have a tagline of something like, it's gonna be a hell of an E3. Hilarious, Todd Howard! You killed it already. Conference winner, 2019. That joke. We're gonna find out more information about it, see some game trailers, maybe get a release date. It's the sequel to the reboot of the Doom 2016, which is great. Everybody loved Doom 2016. I'm very excited for Doom Eternal as well, but I'm more excited for things that we don't necessarily know about just yet, and that's where Bethesda usually shines at these conferences. I should start by saying we know Elder Scrolls and Starfield were mentioned last year. They were shown logos, like JPEG images of games, just to be like, hey, they're in the works now, which is great, but I wouldn't expect to really see much, if anything at all, from either of these game series. Again, something I would be very happy to be proven wrong on, but it seems that Bethesda has kind of already put the bug out there that we're not gonna see those titles. Are deeply in development. It even seemed odd to me that they announced them last year. It seems like they were kind of really trying to throw out the stops to top themselves last year. But Bethesda does always put on a grand show. Even if they don't announce anything from those two games, I would still expect something. Rage 2 was announced last year with less than a year between announcement and release date. I would expect at least one game that would be coming out within the next year that at least gets a little bit of the hype ball rolling down the hill. And rumored to possibly be that game is the fact that the creator of Resident Evil and The Evil Within will actually be attending the conference. Now, it's not been confirmed whether or not he'll be attending specifically with Bethesda on stage, just that he will be at the conference making some sort of business meeting, so there's a chance we could get some kind of either new IP or an Evil Within 3, something from the horror god himself. And also, maybe they'll have Andrew WK back this year, or Mumford & Sons, or Post Malone, I don't know. It was hilarious watching all of the people in the crowd awkwardly sit around while Andrew WK played his heart out. Bless his soul. He really seems like a good guy. He did not deserve that. Rounding out the night of June 9th will be Devolver Digital. If you've never seen a Devolver Digital conference, they're a little hard to explain. I think I'll just let this clip play. So Devolver Digital is basically like a live action special on Adult Swim, kind of like a Too Many Cooks, but if it was about video games and it took place on the stage of E3. Devolver Digital also being an indie company, they don't typically focus on sequels, they usually just release new IP after new IP, so it's hard to say what we might expect from them game-wise this year. Regardless, whatever they do announce, I'm sure at least one or two of them will grasp my interest, if not all of them. Devolver Digital has a pretty fantastic track record of releasing all these great games. There they go, wow, so many good games. Let's go Devolver Digital. And then kicking off June 10th will be the PC Gaming Show. The PC Gaming Show will be hosted by Day9 and Frankie Ward. They're returning hosts for the PC Gaming Show. The PC Gaming Show is made up of a lot of different companies who kind of don't fall into any other categories. So I'm just gonna quickly list off a bunch of companies that have sponsored the PC Gaming Show. They may or may not announce games, but it's the best information that we have to go off of right now. We will have Annapurna Interactive, creators of Donut County and Edith Finch, Chucklefish, creators of Starbound, Stardew Valley, and Wargroove, Coffee Stain Studios, who brought us Goat Simulator, Digital Extremes, who created Warframe and were the developers of BioShock 1 and 2, Digital Uppercut, who created Unto the End and Val Ferris, Fat Shark, who is a creator of VR headsets, Fellow Traveler, who made Hacknet and Neocab, Modus Games, who made Degrees of Separation, Raw Fury, who made Dandara and Goner, as well as a whole bunch of other great indie games you should really check out, Logic, who made Terraria, Epic Games, who made that game that everybody talks about all the time and that store that everybody whines about all the time, Ewin, creator of gaming chairs, Frontier, who made Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, Funcom, who made Conan Exiles as well as the rest of the Conan series, Paradox Interactive, who made Cities Skylines and Stellaris, Perfect World Entertainment, who made Torchlight Mobile, Rebellion is a company that will definitely be there announcing a new game. That one is confirmed. Rebellion will be there and they will be announcing a new game. Rebellion made many Alien vs. Predator games. It is very heavily implied that we'll be getting some sort of new Alien game at E3 during the PC Gaming Show. So that is pretty exciting, maybe, as long as it's not like Alien Colonial Marines. Should be sad and not good. After the PC Gaming Show hodgepodge of whatever goes on there, we'll be moving on to Limited Run Games press conference. This press conference is pretty interesting because they're not probably going to be announcing any new games. Limited Run Games is a company that takes digital-only releases on the PlayStation and Nintendo Switch and gives them physical cartridge releases. You ever see people who have kind of obscure indie games, including games we've played here on this channel like Momodora 4 or Battle Chef Brigade? They take those games and they give them boxes and box art and put them on a little disc or a chip or whatever console they're on, and then sell them in limited runs. Games. It's right there in the title, chat. Overall, I'm enticed to see what kind of games they'll say they're going to be working on. Maybe they'll be talking about releasing further merch or collector's items. It won't be a lot of like new, exciting, flashy game stuff, but for collectors and lovers of indie games like me and probably a lot of you watching this channel, it's going to be a good time. Also on June 10th, we'll have the Ubisoft Conference. First of all, you are 100% getting another Just Dance game. It happens every year. It's fine, people seem to love that series, if it's their thing, whatever. More exciting for more gamer type people will probably be Assassin's Creed. Of course, Assassin's Creed is a series that if they could get away with releasing 5 of them a year, they would choose to release 7. Far Cry and Assassin's Creed both seem to have had relatively recent entries, but being Ubisoft, I'm sure this won't stop or hinder their ability to release more games at all. We can assume that a majority of the show is going to be focused on Watch Dogs Legion though. Watch Dogs Legion was teased and somewhat leaked prior to the conference. They were teasing it ahead of time, but it seems that some game footage and tags and information has also been leaked along with it. What we know is that it's not called Watch Dogs 3, it's called Watch Dogs Legion. Instead of playing one character, it seems like you'll be able to jump around between different NPCs. It seems like the game itself is going to allow you to control every single NPC in the game, although that part is just a rumor, but it seems like the kind of thing that they would try to take on. It would be a very interesting concept for the game and very ambitious, which in today's modern age of gaming, if you're not ambitious, you're really not anything. Leaks also say that it'll most likely be set in London, and that is really all we know for now, but I'm sure we're gonna learn a lot soon. There's also been a leak / rumor that there's going to be some type of roller derby competitive online game released by Ubisoft. It's going to be called Roller Champions, allegedly. The game supposedly rocks Fortnite-like character designs with Rocket League-like mechanics. It seems like it could definitely be a very interesting game if they're going to combine the playstyle of Fortnite with the gameplay of Rocket League? I mean, it certainly seems intriguing. It'll be interesting to see again if this is a game that's going to be released as free to play as a competitive online game or if they'll try to sell copies. We're kind of at a weird impasse with games right now where if you're going to release a game that is strictly competitive only, you almost have to release it as free to compete, but if you have a big enough name behind you, you could maybe still charge money for it. The leaks also say that we'll be getting 3 games from Ubisoft released by April 2020. So maybe that'll include Watch Dogs, maybe that'll include Roller Champions. It's definitely going to include Tom Clancy. The new Tom Clancy game is the only confirmed out of the 3, if the 3 itself was even confirmed. Moving on from Ubisoft, we have Kind of Funny, which is another not really game company that'll be featured. They're actually more of an entertainment and media company. They have a YouTube channel, they do a lot of content, videos, interviews, stuff like that. Despite that, they have revealed things in the past. In previous conferences, they revealed the Walking Dead final season release date, they showed off exclusive footage of Super Meat Boy Forever, so it seems like they definitely have some ties within the indie market. It'd be exciting if maybe they would release a Super Meat Boy Forever release date or something to do with Edmund McMillen. Maybe they'll show off new Binding of Isaac footage, or maybe it'll be totally unrelated to Edmund McMillen. Maybe they'll have some other sort of indie gaming content that they'll release to us. Regardless, they seem to at least get something to bring a little bit of hype, so it'll be a total wild card to watch out for. And rounding out the end of June 10th will be Square Enix. I've expressed in the past my general distaste for Square Enix E3 conferences, not because I dislike Square Enix, much contrary to that. I love Square Enix, they're a great company, but they typically kind of underwhelm at their conferences. They don't really like buy into the big hype and release that so many other conferences like to go for, but we'll see if they can turn that around this year. I think the safe bet is that we'll definitely be seeing more information on Final Fantasy VII. I know we just got a trailer a couple weeks back, kind of just being like, hey guys, we're still working on that game, if you still want it. We do want it. We all want it. I'm waiting for it. Maybe we'll get more information about how the episodic release is gonna start. Maybe we'll get information about an initial release date for episode 1. Maybe we'll get any information about the game at all would probably make us happy. Trailers, footage, whatever. Come on, Square Enix. But if they have really any chance to turn around their conference this year, it'll be with the new Marvel's Avengers game that they've been teasing. They released a teaser trailer far off, teasing that it's going to be like a post-superhero world, but the world still needs superheroes, blah blah blah, cliches. We are totally in the dark about this game. There was a description placed online which was quickly removed. The description said that it featured 4-player co-op, the ability to customize your character, and that's pretty much it. It talked about continuous gameplay, which could mean a number of things. It's most likely seeming like it's going to be maybe an online game, maybe like an MMORPG, or maybe it'll just be a co-op game style Left 4 Dead kind of thing. It's very exciting to see what they might bring to the table. It's definitely a franchise that a lot of us have wanted to be brought into that video game sphere in some sort of satisfactory way. So hopefully they don't fuck it up. The final show will be Nintendo's actual show, not their stupid tournaments, but another pre-recorded Nintendo Direct. As far as Nintendo goes, I would first probably say that I wouldn't expect to see any footage from Pokemon. We just got an entire Nintendo Direct about Pokemon a couple days ago, so it's unlikely that they're going to bring anything new to the table within the same week. I would also really not expect to see anything new from Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime 4 was announced that it was completely being scrapped and started over from the very beginning. I know some fans think that it's still coming out sometime soon, but most likely it will not be seen for a few years now. I would not expect or hold my hopes up for anything Metroid related. What you could hold your hopes up for is Luigi's Mansion 3 footage, Bayonetta 3 footage, really any sequels that they've already announced, as well as a few titles and things. Nintendo does like to tease games well in advance. Maybe we'll even get some new DLC for a game like Zelda or Mario. That would be fun, if not unexpected. And then I think the number one thing that we can definitely expect is that at some point, whether it's at the Nintendo Direct, which would be most likely, but at some point throughout the weekend, we will get a new Smash Bros character. They announced the last Smash Bros character at the Game Awards, another large event where they had screen time where they were able to get up on stage and build hype for it. And since the last character was announced like 6 months ago and has been out for a month, it seems like we're well overdue to get the second of 5 DLC characters. All signs are pointing to the fact that we may actually be getting Banjo-Kazooie as a DLC character finally. Banjo-Kazooie also the most requested DLC character since King K. Rool, who got put in the game. And to also further cement this idea in my brain, they have released a ton of Banjo-Kazooie toys leading up into E3 from various different collectible toy figures, which doesn't typically happen unless there's some sort of reason. So maybe we'll be blindsided by a Microsoft announcement that they're making a new Banjo-Kazooie game, but maybe we'll get lucky and Nintendo will be adding Banjo-Kazooie as the next DLC character. And then talking about the Nintendo-based rumors, the two big rumors going into this E3 is that we'll be getting a Witcher 3 port, which would be great. I just bought Witcher 3 on the PC, so of course they would probably port it over to the Nintendo Switch a week after I bought it. There also is a rumor that within the E3 or a week after, they will most likely be showing off the new Switch variants. They've been teased and talked about for a while that there will be a slimmer, cheaper Switch model and a beefier, more expensive, powerful Switch model, making the current Switch kind of an in-the-middle buying option. The Switch rumors have been talked about for a while. It's been 2 years since the Switch was released, so it seems like they would definitely be happening soon, definitely before Christmas if they were going to get announced at all this year. If they're going to release them before Christmas, now would certainly be the time to announce them. And then some more general rumors before we totally close this out. THQ Nordic is rumored to be bringing another Darksiders game, which I think might have even been confirmed already, as well as a Destroy All Humans something, possibly sequel, but possibly just a remake of the initial games. They bought the rights to those games 6 years ago and haven't done anything except port the previous games to more modern consoles. So it seems like maybe that was a testing ground to see whether or not people would actually be interested in playing a new sequel. And I know there's a lot of love and passion for that game series, so maybe we'll get a really surprise left field hit and get Destroy All Humans 3, or whatever they're gonna call it. And that's it. That is everything that you know you can expect from E3, as well as some stuff you can rumored to expect from E3. Let me know what you're most excited about for E3, as well as if you are new here, get with the program, subscribe. I'm gonna cover a lot of E3 stuff. I think I'll be doing quick recap videos for every E3 conference as I'm able to watch them, wrapping them up, or maybe at least doing one big weekly What's Up with Wigwam next week, which wraps up all the information we went over. Either way, I will certainly be doing a wrap up covering all of the information that we learned about the various games, because E3 is an exciting time to be a gamer. You get a lot of new game announcements, a lot of hype is built. It's just fun. You never know what is going to come next, and the best parts are the ones that totally come out of left field that you didn't see coming. Revived series that you may have thought were long since dead, or series that you didn't think were coming out anytime soon, and then boom, they're coming out in 6 months. But hey, that's been me, Wigwam. That's all I got to say. I love all of your beautiful faces, and I hope you have a wonderful week or day or whatever, and I will catch you guys on a stream or in the next video or wherever, maybe in the streets. We'll just run into each other. We'll be like, hey, what's up, bruh? And then you'll be like, don't fucking talk to me like that, and you'll leave. And I'll be like, that's fair. I should not have talked to him like that.